I wanted to design key moments that really mirror image each other and what you were going through.
That's pretty cool.
Today at Collider, we are breaking down the Daredevil versus Muse and Kingpin versus Atom fight sequence with stunt coordinator Philip Silvera in Daredevil Born Again. The final scene in episode 6, Daredevil against Muse and then Fisk and Atom. The mirroring fights, what kind of story did you want to tell with that choreography between those two?
That was very intentional. It was two parts. It was an initial pitch. When we had to reshoot the Muse sequence, there was my initial pitch to Dario as far as like how dark we can take it. With Daredevil, obviously it was part of the additional photography where we really wanted to tie it into the new opening, which was the death of Foggy. And this was his return to the character. So you wanted to feel like through the heartbeat that he was reminded of what happened to Foggy and he was going to go into that blind rage again like he did. And then after that, then we looked at the Kingpin sequence and it was such a return to both their characters that it was like, this feels, in our discussion just walking through the New York City streets one night, it's like this feels like they should really intercut. So once I knew that became like, I think the beauty of like the Muse fight was tying back to the opening of the show and the heartbeat and making it feel like he was going to kill again or what we thought he was. And then it also tied to Kingpin's or Fisk's promise to not kill Atom. So they were both returning to form and you wanted to know if either one of them was going to cross that line in that moment. He was absolutely becoming Kingpin again and he was returning to being Daredevil. And then we got to play with the rebuild and the design of Muse, where he played a more of like this psychotic fencer within that sequence, right? Because he's an artist with brushstrokes. Again, like all the sequences and what I've tried to do even from back in Daredevil on Netflix days, it's what is the story being written and what is the psychology in the environment of the characters. And I think once you understand that, the sequence is easier to design, but you have to understand where they're at in each moment that we design a sequence. So there's a kind of psychology where we have to get in their heads in those moments to really understand what that is, and then that's the driving force. Like with Matt, you have to understand that he hasn't been Daredevil and he's run into something headlong. So in that design, he's not being as cautious as he normally would. He's running in a little too, I'm not going to say like he's rusty, but he hasn't done this in a while. So there's awareness, and then when he gets hit enough times, you see him go into a blind rage. Number one, we have really good stunt performers and stunt doubles that we bring onto the show. And number two, as the second unit director, I get to decide where the camera goes to kind of help sell those moments and keep everyone safe. So, I'll design the shots for Charlie and for Vincent, then I know this distance is going to keep them safe, and I know they're going to perform their best. And, we're very smart about the guys we hire and the teams we bring on. First, it's, with the DP and, our showrunner and San Amata, we talk about a camera language per sequence. And once we have that camera language, then what I do with the stunt team is we'll shoot like a stunt biz per sequence, and it becomes our roadmap. And we shoot it probably 90 to 95% of how we would shoot it on the day. So we do our reviews together and make little tweaks. And again, as a second unit director, I'm in there operating the camera for these stunt bizes that I know, okay, I'm going to cover my actor this way because I know I want to see his space here. And I'm going to make sure we move the camera with him because that's going to highlight him the best. And then it's a very collaborative process. Once we see that biz together, we make our creative changes and then we go to the shoot day, and that's our roadmap for how we shoot the sequence.
I want to talk about the scene where Daredevil uses his billy club to hang and choke Muse. How was that done? Different strings pulling them up. How does that work behind the scenes?
On the stunt coordinating side of it and in the rigging side, I have phenomenal riggers from Action Factory that have traveled with me for about 15 years. So my riggers are very good and very safe and make things look very believable all the time. So that's one side of it for sure. Yeah, multiple parts. We have Zar Sukarak, who was our fight coordinator, also double Muse and was Muse in this particular sequence. So again, knowing that was our stunt double in there through 90% of that sequence, we get to have a little more liberty on how brutal we can treat the scene because of his physical awareness and capabilities. It is a tech line, and it's softer but very little give.
It sent chills down my spine watching it.
Was that written?
No.
But worked out.
The next scene we're highlighting is from episode 1, where Daredevil swings into Bullseye, crashing into the window.
We do have a team of phenomenal riggers that I worked with for about 15 years now. And we use the same rig or same riggers that designed the end of Daredevil Netflix season 2 when he got his baton for the first time. We did a big follow swing and we wanted to kind of pay homage to it in this particular one. So it started off very practical and then it became a digi takeover into impact. And then coming through the window was very practical as well. There was real tempered glass. We have a phenomenal special special effects team. Brian Janza and Nico Staub are, Brian Janza is our bullseye double and one of our fight coordinators. And Nico Staub is Daredevil's new stunt double. And they both went through that window practically. That was very real. We usually plan for something big like that to do it 2 or 3 times. And luckily enough, we ran it through the numbers enough times that on take 1, we got that. And we did not have to do it again.
The fight then continued into the stairwell, where the different levels posed a challenge, but also added something special to the sequence.
I think those different levels always make things more interesting. Any handicap we can put into a sequence always makes it more interesting. A straight-on fight we can see in any show, but I think the beauty is when there's a handicap or there's something that isn't of even ground or terrain, or it's a little more confined. I think we look for those things to lean into so then we can get a more unique moment with these characters. We have 2 phenomenal stunt doubles, and one of them is part of our fight team. In the early design of that sequence, we went from being a traditional fight to leaning into all the knives Bullseye had, and then also realizing Daredevil has the same skill set when he's non-lethal. So it became a pantomime fight of, we know that these knives are going to come here and track, and these knives are going to hit him at this point, and Dee Dee's going to block those 2 blocks, and then he's going to get hit by the 3rd one. So, both Wilson and Charlie had to memorize each beat, each cause and effect with each other, because they never made physical contact in that moment. If you look at it again, it's VFX weapons hitting them, but they perform every hit on cue. So that was just a timed choreographed dance of, I do this, I do that, the cause and effect gets me in the leg, and I throw the baton in your face. I catch the baton as I'm going in close to you. I'll try to grab the baton away from you, but a knife hits me in the gut or in the leg, and the baton just hits you in the head. And we got that very organic moment, which goes back to like our Daredevil season 1 hallway where he gets tired, where you saw the both of them tired. And I thought that was like a good callback to season 1.
Philip Silvera and his team have brought Matt Murdock's gritty, violent, and complex personality on screen in season 1 of Daredevil Born Again. Expect more of the same exciting action in the upcoming season 2. What's your favorite stunt in Daredevil Born Again? Comment down below. And thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned for more exclusive behind-the-scenes insights from your favorite TV shows and films.